So I started getting harassed around the time of the royal wedding. The moment that people knew I disagreed with some things about my sisters.
I grew up as an only child, and I wished I had siblings.
It's like everything. It's lie upon lie upon lie.
Hello to all my gorgeous, good-looking friends. You are tuning into TRG's series covering the Markle vs. Markle defamation lawsuit. If you are new to the channel, welcome. For those who are returning, thank you for coming back and supporting my work. I'm always grateful to have this like-minded community to discuss the beloved royal family and the cultural impact of its members on society, particularly in America. Okay, before I get into this, let me just put the disclaimer. I am not a legal expert. I am simply just reading what's in the public court files and giving my interpretation and observations / opinions. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusion. Hello, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. We have a few updates in the Markle versus Markle court case. We left off last week with Meghan's team filing a motion to be able to provide episode 5 of the Netflix mockumentary on a flash drive. A small reminder that Meghan wanted the judge to get the full effect of the visuals included in that episode. So being that it was greater than 50 megs, she had to put it on a flash drive. As you can see, it's been logged today that the flash drive has been received and placed on shelf. Now, I wouldn't put it past Meghan to have slipped in a handwritten note that said something to the effect of, "Judge Charlene, thank you so much. From one sister to another. As always, the Duchess." Let's hope that Samantha gets a copy from the judge. As if forcing the judge to watch this full episode wasn't enough, Meghan's taking a page out of Harry's legal strategy and bothering the judge even further by adding additional information or supplementary data by filing a notice of supplemental authority in which Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, hereby files a notice of supplemental authority regarding the opinion issued by the Florida 3rd District Court of Appeal, affirming the circuit court's granting of defendant's motion to dismiss claims for defamation and defamation by implication, which became final and was accepted for publication on June 2nd, 2023. And what she is doing here is bringing up a case that had been decided upon and has been released as of June 2nd for the public to see. So we can all be on the same page. Let's take a step back and explain what exactly is a notice of filing supplemental authority Florida. And it says here that a party may file notices of supplemental authority with the court before a decision has been rendered to call attention to decisions, rules, statutes, or other authorities that are significant to the issues raised and that have been discovered after service of the party's last brief in the cause. So we all know that Meghan is pushing really hard to get this case dismissed. And right now, the judge is being bombarded with additional evidence by Meghan in order to get her to dismiss the case. Now, if you've been watching the videos that I've done covering all the documents that have been filed thus far, I have repeatedly have said that Meghan appears to be throwing stuff at the judge in ways that is trying to, whether it be deflect or, confuse in order to separate this nexus so the judge drops this case. Now, this is my opinion, but from how I read Meghan's legal documents, it does appear that there is quite a bit of effort going into throwing out details that are unnecessary, throwing out cases that don't apply, all to consume time and probably in an attempt to confuse and sway the judge to think a different way. This is exhausting by what Meghan is doing, and I suspect that this is going to continue in hopes to get this case dismissed. Meghan has money to burn, and I wouldn't put it past her to keep putting out these unnecessary supplements in order to waste time and also to cost Samantha a fortune. I'm assuming Samantha's going to have to respond to keep the judge on track, because what Meghan has been doing is completely ignoring anything that's being submitted by Samantha. it is clear that they want Samantha now to be reacting and responding. So let's take a look at what the Duchess wants the judge to consider in her decision in getting this case dismissed. So the case that they have included for the judge to take into consideration is this Ozyesilpinar versus Reach PLC et al. Case that was just made public June 2nd, 2023. In order to cut through all the BS, it's really important that we understand what this case is all about. So Meghan's team wants this opinion to be considered as part of the supplemental authority. So this person, Viral, filed a lawsuit for defamation and actually lost because the defendant filed a motion to dismiss like what Meghan is doing, and the judge granted it. So even though that this is an opinion piece that was put out, Meghan's team is using it to show that her case is similar to this case and why it should be dismissed. So right now, this person, Viral, had filed an appeal because he didn't agree with the decision that the judge gave for dismissing the case. So for those that don't know, the appellant is the one arguing on why the trial court's decision was an error or mistake, which is what Viral is considered, the appellant. And the appellee argues why the trial court's decision was correct, which would be the people that Viral was suing. So I'm guessing once a decision is made, and if it is in appeals, you're no longer considered a plaintiff or defendant. It's now using these two labels. So let me give you the backstory of what this case is about. So Viral, the appellant, had put up their Miami apartment for rent, and a potential renter by the name of Mrs. Brown, who was Black, sought to rent the unit from Viral through Booking.com. As set forth in the complaint that was filed, Viral, the appellant, accused Mrs. Brown of engaging in credit card fraud and confronted her on the WhatsApp social media site. Apparently, the conversation went into getting into some type of argument and then followed name calling. Viral, the appellant, used various racist slurs against Mrs. Brown and over time sent emails and voicemails to Mrs. Brown containing these racist slurs, photos, and accusations. Well, this escalated, and Mrs. Brown took it to social media on Facebook and posted the interactions with Viral, including screenshots of the WhatsApp conversations between herself and Viral. Following that, Mrs. Brown's Facebook postings about Viral's behavior, Viral decides to do an interview with the Miami New Times and admits to making those slurs. The appellant, Viral, unchallenged statements to the Miami New Times included admitting to calling Ms. Brown a monkey, claiming being racist is not illegal, and stating that, in quotes, "We have freedom of speech. If I want to call somebody a monkey, I should be able to say that." As a result of doing that interview with the Miami newspaper, the story then got picked up by other media companies. And then in June 2019, BET, the company that Tyler Perry supposedly bought, published an article detailing Viral statements and behavior towards Mrs. Brown and indicated that Booking.com had rescinded its ad for Viral's property based on its stated intolerance of discrimination. BET's article characterized the appellant's online confrontation with Ms. Brown as a racist tirade. And no shock that other media outlets picked up this story and published similar articles about the dispute, similar to the way that we see Meghan's propaganda get filtered out to the world. So the net of this case was that this person lost because the trial court found the factual allegations were uncontroverted and granted the motion to dismiss with prejudice because the statements were true based off of the actual statements made by Viral. You can't deny that what was said, and then did an interview with the Miami newspaper and is on record admitting those things. And then BET and other media outlets decided to weigh in and give their opinion on it. And in this case, that is totally warranted. So when we go back to Meghan's supplemental authority plan of getting people into a state of confusion, so they pull out 3 quotations from this opinion piece, and we're going to look at those. So it's cited here that they want the judge to look at this quote saying, holding that for a statement to be mixed opinion, the communicator's statement must imply that a concealed or undisclosed set of defamatory facts would confirm the statement. So Meghan's lawyers are drawing the judge's attention directly to these quotes, but we should understand what was said in this opinion right before it. So it says here from that very same opinion filing, a statement is pure opinion when it is commentary or opinion based on facts that are set forth in the subject publication or which otherwise known or available to the reader or listener. By contrast, a statement is mixed opinion when an opinion or comment is made which is based upon facts regarding the plaintiff or his conduct that have not been stated in the article or assumed to exist by the parties to the communication. So now let's go back to putting this into focus. So the reason why they're highlighting the mixed opinion and stating that it failed to meet the definition of mixed opinion and referencing that is because when you go back to Meghan's motion to dismiss, an explanation about Boozie's statements about the racism, they're making it sound like it is considered pure opinion. Samantha had contested and said that it could be considered mixed opinion at best if you gave them the benefit of the doubt, but there really isn't any room for calling it mixed opinion because Samantha's not a racist. There's no evidence that supports Samantha ever having any kind of racist slurs being put out there in print. And I think they fail on this. But do you see how convoluted Meghan's team is making this to follow and understand? As you can see here in Meghan's document, number 74, in her motion to dismiss, highlighted, it says, Middle District Court held that the statement that the Confederate flag is a racist symbol and that those who display it are racist is a pure opinion that cannot support an action for defamation. So the logic behind putting the supplemental information now in the 11th hour is to take the position like what BET did by positioning this motion to dismiss because what Boozy said, what Meghan has said, is all pure opinion, and that it should be protected under our freedom of speech and our rights. That would work if Samantha did say things that were documented that were racist or had evidence of being a part of a hate group. But there isn't anything to support that. So it's not pure opinion. It's not mixed opinion. It's flat out lies based off of pushing a narrative that was malicious and hurtful. Meghan is pushing hard around supporting her opinion being protected under the First Amendment. But I don't think she understands that even when she positions her statement as an opinion, it is still actionable if the statement could reasonably be interpreted as implying defamatory facts about her sister. And that's exactly what she did. You can hide it all you want, but you cannot avoid liability solely because you're labeling it your opinion, even though you didn't say that it was your opinion. You labeled it now as an opinion and it should be protected. That's not how this works. All these statements that came out of Meghan's mouth, Boozie's mouth, the coordinated campaigns were all done with actual malice. And this was done with a reckless disregard for whether or not it was true by these individuals. I think it's important now that Samantha really puts forward something of concrete evidence to show how vicious and vile the people that Meghan had been supporting and backing have been to Samantha, and showed that Meghan has been guilty of some type of debasing act. I mean, calling someone a racist when you have no justified facts or reasoning to base your opinion off of is debasing and is harmful, in which, for the most part, In today's world, if you're labeled a racist, you're canceled from society. So, yeah, that does fall under the four corners needed to prove defamation. Meghan intentionally targeted Samantha for online harassment. It's really important that the judge understands this must move forward in order for discovery to happen and expose the machine that Meghan had been leading to coordinate these campaigns against the people that she wanted to silence and shut up. Public enemy number one was Samantha. And if there was a direct campaign against her family and Samantha has evidence of it, I think maybe she needs to put that forward in some type of response to give it one last go before the judge makes a decision. It's certainly clear that Meghan is doing everything she can to confuse the judge by adding more things for her to look at and consider. And by the responses of her legal team, you can see how manipulative they have been in throwing out all these different things to distract from some of the facts. These attacks that were coordinated were intended to retaliate, upset her sister, and also make people laugh at Samantha and shame her just because Meghan didn't like that her sister was speaking the truth. What happened to Samantha's freedom of speech and her opinions being protected? Honestly, we're seeing Meghan doing her very best to have the last word and the last say, as well as stay in the judge's head with the recent lodging this USB stick of episode 5 and her plight and how people were so mean and racist against Meghan. I think that it's important that Samantha has the last word before the judge actually makes a decision, because right now, as it stands, the judge hears Meghan's voice in her head because she's got this USB stick now, and now putting the supplemental information about racism. There's obviously an angle that Meghan is trying to push from being a biracial woman or Black woman and identifying and pulling on the heartstrings of another Black woman. I don't necessarily know if that's going to work. You can clearly see that the angle that they have taken in the last Hail Marys that they're using is pulling on the racial aspect. So hopefully Samantha can see through this and come up with something with her team to really hit in the stomach for the judge to say this case needs to move forward. But what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. And as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Such a fraud.